My name is Miranda Henley. I'm 44 years old. 3 weeks ago, my phone rang at 6:12 in the morning. It was Peggy Sutton, my mother's next-door neighbor of 18 years. Her voice was shaking. "Honey, your mother's house has been dark for 3 days. I haven't seen her." My mother is 82. She has moderate dementia. She can't drive. She can't walk to the mailbox without someone holding her arm. I called my brother Craig 7 times. 7. He finally picked up on the last one and said 5 words I will never forget. She wandered off. Stop making a scene. My mother didn't wander off. My mother couldn't wander off. And what I found when I flew to Florida wasn't a confused old woman lost in a neighborhood. It was $340,000 missing from her accounts, a care facility that had never heard the name Dorothy Henley, and a brother who had been lying to every single person in our family for over a year. Before I take you back to that morning, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story speaks to you. Drop your city and your local time in the comments. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Now, let me take you back to a Tuesday in October, the day my brother's phone went to voicemail for the 7th time. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I manage supply chain operations for a mid-sized logistics company. Long hours, tight deadlines, a lot of spreadsheets. I've been doing it for 11 years. I'm a single mom. My daughter Lily is 14, and she's the reason I get up at 5 and don't stop moving until 10 at night. My mother, Dorothy Henley, lives in Claremont, Florida, a small town west of Orlando, quiet streets, old oaks. She taught second grade for 35 years at the same elementary school. Everybody in that town knows her. Everybody calls her Miss Dot. 3 years ago, she was diagnosed with moderate dementia. The kind where she still knows your face, still hums along to the radio, but forgets she already ate lunch. Forgets what month it is. Forgets where she put her shoes, then forgets she was looking for them. My brother Craig is 49. He lives 20 minutes from Mom's house. When her condition worsened 2 years ago, we went through the court process, and Craig was appointed her legal guardian. He also held her durable power of attorney for finances. I agreed to it because it made sense. He was local. I was 700 miles away. I trusted the arrangement. I trusted him. Every month, I sent Craig $1,200 to help cover Mom's expenses. Groceries, medication, the part-time caregiver he said he'd hired. Every Sunday, I called Mom on her iPad for a video chat. That was our routine. But about 2 months before Peggy's call, those Sunday sessions started disappearing. Craig always had a reason. She's napping. She had a rough night. Maybe tomorrow. The iPad's acting up again. I told myself it was the disease. I told myself she was just having bad days. I didn't want to believe the alternative. Tuesday, October 8th. My alarm hadn't gone off yet when the phone lit up. Peggy Sutton doesn't call early. She's a retired postal worker, 70 years old, and she respects other people's mornings. So when I saw her name at 6:12 a.m., I answered before it rang twice. "Miranda, I'm sorry to call this early." Her voice was tight. "Your mama's house has been dark 3 nights straight, mail's piling up. I knocked yesterday and the day before. Nobody answered." I sat up in bed. "Did you try Craig?" "I don't have Craig's number, honey. I only have yours." I dialed Craig. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. A third time. Voicemail. On the 4th call, he picked up. Background noise. A TV? Maybe a bar. "What?" "Craig, Peggy says Mom's house has been dark for 3 days. Where is she?" "She wandered off. I'm handling it. Stop making a scene." "She can't wander off, Craig. She needs help getting to the bathroom." "I said I'm handling it." He hung up. I sat there for 90 seconds staring at the phone. Then I opened the Life 360 app, the one I'd installed on Mom's iPad a year ago so I could check she was home. The dot was gone. The device had been offline for 4 days. I opened my laptop, pulled up flights. Raleigh to Orlando, 10:40 a.m., 1 seat left. I called my manager. "Family emergency. I need at least a week." She didn't hesitate. I called my best friend Shonda and asked if Lily could stay with her. "Of course. Go." Lily stood in the hallway in her pajamas, watching me pack. "Is Grandma okay?" I zipped the bag. "I'm going to find out." I landed in Orlando at 12:47. Enterprise rental counter, mid-size sedan, GPS set to Claremont. 38 minutes on the 429. I pulled into Mom's driveway at 2:15 p.m. The grass in the front yard hadn't been cut in weeks. The mailbox was stuffed. Flyers, electric bill, a Walgreens circular still in plastic wrap. 3 days of newspapers fanned across the porch. The spare key was still under the third ceramic pot, right where it had been since I was in high school. Inside, the house smelled stale. Not rotten, just still. Like nobody had opened a window in a while. The refrigerator had a quart of expired milk and a package of sliced turkey that had turned gray. The trash can under the sink was empty, no bag in it. Then I saw the pill organizer on the kitchen counter. It was one of those weekly ones, Monday through Sunday, morning and evening compartments. Thursday through Sunday, 4 days, still full. Little white tablets and blue capsules sitting in their slots untouched. My mother takes blood pressure medication. She takes donepezil for the dementia. She takes a low-dose aspirin every morning. 4 days without any of it. And Craig told me she was fine. I walked through the rest of the house. Her bedroom was made, not the way Mom makes a bed, but flat, tucked military tight, like someone tidied up before leaving. Her reading glasses were on the nightstand. Her purse was in the closet. Then I found it on the kitchen table, half hidden under a stack of junk mail. A single envelope from a place called Lakeview Senior Living. The letter inside was addressed to Dorothy Beckett. Beckett was my mother's maiden name. Nobody had told me she'd been moved anywhere. I drove to Craig's house. It was a subdivision called Eagle Ridge. Newer homes, 2-car garages, HOA-maintained hedges. I'd been there twice in the last 3 years, both times for Thanksgiving. He opened the door in gym shorts and a polo, beer in hand. The surprise on his face lasted half a second before it hardened. "You didn't need to fly down here." "Where is Mom, Craig?" He leaned against the doorframe. "She's at a facility, a good one. She needed 24/7 care, and I couldn't do it anymore." "What facility? What's the name? What's the address?" He scratched his jaw. "Sunrise something, over by the lake." "There's no Sunrise facility in Lake County. I checked on the drive over." "Maybe it's a different name. I don't remember off the top of my head." "You don't remember the name of the place where our mother lives?" His posture shifted, shoulders squared. "You live 700 miles away, Miranda. You send a check and think that makes you involved? I'm the one who bathed her. I'm the one who fed her. Don't come down here acting like you have a say." Behind him, in the hallway, I caught a glimpse of Denise, his wife. She was standing just past the kitchen doorway, arms crossed, face pale. She looked at Craig, then at me. "Craig," she said quietly, "just tell her where Mom is." He didn't turn around. He kept his eyes on me. "Go home, Miranda. I've got it handled." I stepped back from the door. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "I'm not leaving Florida until I see my mother with my own eyes." He shut the door. The next morning I walked into the Wells Fargo branch on Highway 27, the one Mom had used for 20 years. I told the teller I needed to see a statement for my mother's account, Dorothy Henley. I gave her date of birth, social security, everything I knew. The branch manager came out, mid-40s, reading glasses on a chain. She sat me down at her desk, typed for a minute, then folded her hands. "Miss Henley, I can't share account information with you. The power of attorney on file belongs to a Mr. Craig Henley. He's the only authorized party." "I'm her daughter." "I understand, but without legal authorization my hands are tied." She paused, then she leaned in slightly, dropped her voice a notch. "I would encourage you to speak with an attorney." It wasn't what she said. It was how she said it. She wasn't brushing me off. She was warning me. I drove back to Mom's house and started going through every drawer, every folder, every envelope. In the filing cabinet in the spare bedroom, I found 3 bank statements from 10 months earlier. The kind they used to mail before everything went digital. The balance on the most recent one? $412,000. That was everything. The money from selling the house in Michigan, 35 years of teaching, Social Security, Dad's small life insurance payout, her entire safety net, in one number. And I was sending Craig $1,200 a month on top of it. 14 months of payments, $16,800. Into his hands. Something in my chest shifted. Not panic, not grief. A colder thing. The kind of calm that comes when you stop hoping and start calculating. I picked up my phone and searched. Elder law attorney Orlando. Janet Morales had an office on East Colonial Drive, second floor of a building that smelled like new carpet and old coffee. She was 52, compact, direct, the kind of woman who finishes your sentence not because she's rude, but because she already knows where you're going. I told her everything. The dark house, the pill organizer, Craig's shifting story, the bank statements from 10 months ago, the letter addressed to Dorothy Beckett. She listened without interrupting. When I was done, she opened a legal pad and drew a line down the center. This is a textbook pattern, she said. Step 1. We file a report with Adult Protective Services, the Florida Abuse Hotline, today. Step 2. I petition the court for a subpoena on your mother's bank records. All accounts, 24 months. Step 3. We hire a forensic accountant. A forensic accountant? Someone who reconstructs financial histories, traces every dollar in and out. If your brother moved money, they'll find where it went and when. She tapped the pad. Florida Statute 825.1035 gives us the authority to file for an injunction to protect your mother from exploitation. That injunction can freeze assets, restrict access, bar your brother from contact if necessary. Craig was appointed guardian by a judge. Can the court actually take that back? Janet set down her pen and looked at me straight. If we prove breach of fiduciary duty, yes. The same court that gave him authority can revoke it. That's how the system works. But we need evidence, not suspicion. Evidence. I thought about the pill organizer, the dark house, the letter with the wrong name. I didn't have proof yet, but I had a trail. And I knew how to follow trails. It's what I do for a living. I called the Florida Abuse Hotline that afternoon, 1-800-96-ABUSE. The intake worker asked me to describe the situation. I gave her the facts: missing mother, inaccessible medical records, guardian who refused to disclose her location, bank account I couldn't access. We'll open an investigation, she said. An APS investigator will be in touch within 24 hours. Her name was Ruth Cannon. She called the next morning, calm and methodical. She told me she'd begin contacting facilities immediately. That same afternoon, my phone buzzed. Craig. You called APS? His voice was low, shaking. You reported me to the state? Craig, I can't find Mom. You won't tell me where she is. You know what you just did? You know what this looks like? You're trying to destroy this family. I'm trying to find our mother. I've been taking care of her for 3 years. I bathed her. I sat with her at 3 in the morning when she didn't know where she was. And you? You send money and think you get a vote? I held the phone against my ear and said nothing. I'd heard this speech before, the version where my distance made me irrelevant, where geography was the same as abandonment. Craig, where is our mother? That's all I'm asking. He hung up. 20 minutes later, Ruth Cannon called me back. Her tone was different, careful. Ms. Henley, I ran your mother through our database. Dorothy Henley doesn't appear in any licensed facility in Lake County. What do you mean? I mean she's not registered under that name, anywhere in the county. I thought about the letter on the kitchen table. Dorothy Beckett. My mother was somewhere in Florida, under a name that wasn't hers, and my brother was the one who put her there. I'm standing in my mother's empty kitchen, and my brother just hung up on me for the 3rd time. The state can't find her, the bank won't talk to me, and Craig is telling everyone I'm the one tearing this family apart. If you've ever tried to protect someone you love and been told you were overreacting, you know exactly where I'm standing right now. If this story is hitting close to home, hit that subscribe button. I don't say that lightly. Now let me tell you what happened when the forensic accountant got involved. Helen Trask didn't look like someone who dismantles financial fraud for a living. She was 58, gray-haired, reading glasses perched low on her nose, and she carried a leather portfolio that looked older than me. CPA, certified in financial forensics, 20 years of elder exploitation cases across 3 states. Janet arranged the meeting at her office, 2 days after the subpoena was filed. Helen sat across from me and asked 15 questions in 10 minutes. Account numbers, bank names, whether Mom had investment portfolios, whether Craig held any businesses, whether there were joint accounts, trusts, or beneficiary designations I knew about. I answered what I could. I need the subpoenaed records, Helen said. 24 months of statements, all accounts. Once I have them, give me 2 to 3 weeks. I'll reconstruct the full financial history, every deposit, withdrawal, transfer, and fee. What will that tell us? Everything. She closed her portfolio. Where the money went, when it moved, who authorized it, whether it matches any legitimate expenditure. I'll build a visual timeline, dates on one axis, dollar amounts on the other, every transaction mapped to its destination. Janet added, "The court granted the subpoena yesterday. The bank has 10 business days to comply." I looked at Helen. "What do you think he took?" She didn't blink. "I don't guess, I trace. The numbers will tell us everything. And if it's bad? Then we'll have a document that tells the judge exactly how bad, in a format no one can argue with." She adjusted her glasses. "Judges don't read spreadsheets, Ms. Henley. They read stories told in numbers. That's what I build." I walked out of that office feeling something I hadn't felt since Peggy's call. Direction. Craig moved faster than I expected. Within 48 hours of the APS report, he'd called everyone. Aunt Barbara, Mom's 76-year-old sister in Lakeland, 2 cousins in Tampa, a family friend from church. All of them got the same story. Miranda is trying to steal Mom's money. Miranda abandoned Mom years ago. Miranda hired a lawyer because she wants control. Aunt Barbara called me first. She was crying. "Miranda, honey, Craig says you're suing him. He says you want the guardianship so you can get to your mama's accounts. Why didn't you talk to the family first?" "Aunt Barbara, Mom was missing for 3 days. Craig wouldn't tell me where she was. He said she's at a nice place near the lake. He said she's comfortable. He told APS the same thing. They can't find her." "Well, maybe it's a mix-up with the name." "It's not a mix-up." Silence. Then, "Craig has been there every day, honey. He takes her to church. He cooks for her. You're the one who left." I let the sentence sit. I didn't correct her. There was no point. Craig had gotten to her first, and the version he built was clean and familiar. The devoted son, the absent daughter. 3 more calls came that day. A cousin I hadn't spoken to in 2 years. A woman from Mom's Bible study. Craig's neighbor. All delivering the same message in different words. "You're wrong. Craig is good. Stop." 12 messages by nightfall. Not one of them asking where my mother actually was. But buried in Aunt Barbara's call was a detail she didn't realize she'd given me. Craig told her Mom was at a nice place near the lake. She likes it there. Near the lake. That was the first real clue. The bank statements arrived at Janet's office on a Thursday, a thick manila envelope stamped confidential. Helen picked them up that afternoon. 5 days later, she called me in. Her laptop was open on the conference table. A timeline filled the screen, color-coded, annotated, stretching across 14 months. "Sit down," she said. The starting balance, 14 months ago, $412,000. The current balance, $68,000. $344,000, gone. Helen walked me through it. 9 wire transfers to 3 separate accounts. 2 of them belonged to Craig personally. The third was an LLC called Henley Hospitality, a restaurant he'd opened 18 months ago that closed 8 months later. Money was still flowing into that LLC months after the doors shut. Then there were the ATM withdrawals, $800 to $2,000 a week, pulled from machines near Craig's house. Helen had matched the merchant codes, a significant portion traced back to online gambling platforms. "Every month," she said, scrolling, $1,200 comes in from a deposit labeled M. Henley. That's you. Every month, that $1,200 moves to Craig's personal checking account the same day. None of it reaches any vendor associated with Dorothy's care." I stared at the line items. My money, Mom's money, all going to the same place. "There's one more thing." Helen zoomed into a recurring monthly payment, $4,200 to Lakeview Senior Care. "The facility charges $2,800 a month for the room your mother occupies. Craig is billing her account $4,200. He's pocketing the difference, $1,400 a month. And the name on the intake?" Helen turned the screen toward me. A scanned document. Admission form. Patient, Dorothy Beckett. "That's her maiden name," I said.